Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Here we are again on another day. I have our coach, Kristen, here with me. Welcome, Kristen. Thank you for being
Hi.
here. And she
Thank you
has a
for
beautiful green top on. I love it. Love it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. And Kristen and I are going to talk about something that I don't know if you all have it, but we feel it. We see it everywhere, don't we?
We do. We do
Do
all
you
the
want to
time.
tell us what you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about anxiety.
Yes.
It is everywhere.
Yes, it is everywhere. So before we get started, I don't know if you've been watching our live shows, Kristen. We've been starting with being here and now, and one of the reasons for seeing anxiety everywhere these days is because we forgot how to be here and now. And
Yes.
then if we're not here and now, guess where we are? We tend to be in the past, and we love to replay the past. How about yourself? Have you thought about anything from the past just today, Kristen?
I have actually just
Perfect.
replaying, past jobs and things I've done. So yeah.
Yeah. It just comes, right? You're not even consciously wanting to think about it, but your brain just goes into a loop and then want you to be there with it and want you to think about it, and then it starts saying you should have done this, you could have done this, why didn't you do this, right? All these conversations starts going.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That loop just keeps going and going and going. Sure. And
Going, yeah. So, what can we do with the past? It's not going to go away because our brain remembers it because we have something called memory, right? So it's just impossible to erase it. So what can we do it? We just need to let go. But before you let go, just take the lessons from it, because everything that happens to us happens for a reason, and there's always a lesson in it. Just take that and then use it now and here, and then just let this go, because this over here in the past is wasting your time, energy, and your resources by playing that loop, like Kristen just said. So then, if I let that go and take the lessons, I try to be here now, and that's also impossible. Still, I'm not here. Where am I? I'm in the future, or you're in the future, and we love to think about our future. That is perfectly okay to think about the future, right? I love to think about my future. I love to set intention. Right, Kristen? Intentions are powerful. We can set them up. But that's not how we think about future, do we?
no, no. We want to plan it and we want to control it and we want to make it happen the way we want it to happen.
And somehow the past gets involved without even permission. Do you see it?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Past
Somehow,
patterns wanna show up,
yeah,
so
that loop thinking shows up in my future planning. I'm like, wait a second, when did you join this party? I never asked you to come.
invite you.
I didn't invite you to this future party that I was planning, but you're here. Why? Because we love to look through that, through the past, right? Because we have memory again. It's going to tell us, you remember you did that last time and you never, you never had success. So why would you do it again? Like, these are the feedbacks normally our past is giving us when we're trying to set intention for the future. So just like Kristen says, trying to plan it so much and trying to control the future so much, it creates what? our favorite
Anxiety.
our favorite word. It's anxiety. Yeah, we all feel it. We feel like something's going to happen, I'm not sure what it is, but something's going to happen. That feeling, your heart is racing, your body's not feeling unsettled, right? So what can we do with the future? We really, future is not in the control of us. I wish I can say that we can predict it, but we don't have that ability. That's one thing that humans don't have. So why don't we do one thing? We can bless it, because we know future is coming, right?
Mhm.
So why don't we bless it and we release it so it's available to us? It can come to us, because you see, holding that hand up in the future or holding your hand up like in the past, it really hurts. My hands are hurting. So let those go, release this, and then look what happens. You have your hands now. You can come here and now. This brings you here and now. And in this space, look at it. When you even put your hands together, there's a peace, isn't there, Kristen? When you bring these together, doesn't your body feel like tucked and peaceful, right? So from here, we can learn, because I'm here, because my all my memory is here, all my brain power is here,
Mhm.
not in the past or the future designing something I don't even want. So, and then we can live. when we're learning, we can live, and then we can lead ourselves and others that we're responsible for. But if we're not here, and now and here, unfortunately, we can't do learning or living or leading ourselves or others. That's what's happening, and that's what is causing anxiety, right, Kristen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, what is your favorite way of bringing ourselves now and here besides this conversation with our brain? That's one way. But what else do you do to bring yourself here and now so you don't feel anxious or stressed?
So I tend to feel it when I get anxious. I can feel it in my chest.
Yes.
That's usually where it comes up. And so well, first of all, I sit and I either just place my hand on my chest or I just kind of lightly tap on my chest and deep breaths and just ground myself in my body and where I am.
Is there a pattern you follow? Is there a pattern for the breathing?
For the breathing, sure.
Yes.
I do, of course, I do in for 4 and I hold for 4 and then I exhale for 6.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Can you take us? Inhale for?
Okay. We're going to inhale 2, 3, 4 and hold 2, 3, 4 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, inhale 2, 3, 4 and hold 2, 3, 4 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
One more time, we'll do it 3 times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Amazing. Thank you. Look, we already feel better, right?
I do. I feel great.
It's the best thing you can do before you start a live or something too, and a presentation or something too, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. So there's something we've been noticing, right, with more and more students, more parents, even more adults. The anxiety. The word is anxiety for today. So it's not just occasionally, but it's consistently, right? Sometimes it just doesn't stop. It just keeps going and it keeps going. So when we have consistent anxiety, what happens? We lose our focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our emotions are all over the place. And then when we have anxiety, we're going to show behaviors. And then anxiety actually takes a lot of energy out of us. Do you notice that?
It is exhausting.
It's
Absolutely.
exhausting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's also
mentally exhausting, physical. I mean, just everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, drains your energy. So if you're struggling with this, like in your focus, in your emotions, or if you're witnessing your children or your students having behavior and then energy crashing, that's because the anxiety is playing a huge role in their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question that keeps coming back is what? Are we actually looking at anxiety or something deeper than calling that anxiety? What is going on, right? It makes you wonder, why are we this anxious? It's not just, I mean, sometimes it's even little kids like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds are getting labeled with that too, right? So tell me, what do you think, Kristen?
Well, it is. I mean, it is everywhere. It's just everywhere, and I see it in so many people. And like you said, of all different ages and diversities, just everywhere. And so, in people, so it's showing up a lot of time as overwhelm and, like you said, lack of focus. But honestly, it's your body is trying to tell you something.
Yes.
There's something
deeper.
Right. So the anxiety is more a signal of something else.
Yes. You're a coach, a holistic neurogrowth success coach and a teacher still, so at school, right? So tell me, how do you see this in your students when you're at school?
It presents differently in different people. So some people just get completely overwhelmed and withdraw.
Yes.
And they don't want to be part of anything. And some people, they strive for perfection. They want to do everything right so that nothing could be wrong. And some people just push harder and harder, and just get busier and busier,
Do
which
you
is
find do you find some people to be having a lot of distractions in their behavior? It's like a lot of distraction to others and
not
themselves.
right. They're not able to focus.
Yes.
Definitely not able to focus. Yeah. So like I said, I see it in different ways.
Yeah, and that's just something else we have to be very careful with. Anxiety shows up different in different people. Some of them, as you mentioned, it's avoidance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shutting down, avoidance.
Yeah.
Big emotions. A lot of parents call these big emotions, right? Shouting,
Right.
screaming.
Right. It's just too much. It's just too much for them.
Yeah. What about in adults? Like, do you think it's same in adults when it shows up?
I think I mean, I see it, like I said, it's in different people. You see it in different ways. More adults I tend to see are stressed out and overwhelmed. And the anxiety just kind of kicks all that up a level.
Yes. How does this affect? How is it affecting? So let's look at all the ways that this is causing lots of trouble for the students. First of all, let's look at that from your school perspective. What is it happening? They can't focus, then they can do well in school, right?
Right. And the ones that withdraw, they just don't participate, so that they're not doing any learning. And the ones that are pushing too hard are burning themselves out, basically, pushing so hard. And I see it show up in test anxiety, in performance anxiety, if they have to give a presentation or something, and it's just too much for them.
Yes. What about, we had a whole shutdown, right, years ago? And
Yes.
what about what about after the shutdown, we really didn't reintroduce our students properly back into the real world? How about that? What do you think of that situation?
I think that many students, if not all of them, were just not ready to be back in the learning environment.
Yes.
And they were asked to perform at the same level they'd been performing at before, but they hadn't had all the steps in between. So I think it was very frustrating for a lot of students coming out of, and I saw that a lot in my students at that time too. And it was stressful for teachers too, the whole situation. We were coming out of that expected to, pick up right where we left off.
Yeah, almost we walked out and in as nothing happened.
Right. And I know my anxiety, I didn't have a lot of issues with anxiety until that happened.
Yeah. And what do you think stemmed from? Is it the invisible danger, or is it just unknowns? So many unknowns at the same time.
So many unknowns. So yes, it was like, how could this possibly happen here? And it did. And so then it opens up a whole other list of, oh, well, what could happen?
Yeah. And this has been my question, because I love asking questions, So it has been my question, like, how would a child or a teenager, or even doesn't matter, even an older person too, right? A senior, even like any human being, process an invisible danger that just came out of nowhere, and it closed us down, and then everything changed, and then we're online, and then we say, okay, it's fine now, let's go back to the real world, let's go. So it's okay. Some people adjust and adapt, fine. But little kids still fear that same thing, right? They could still continue to have that fear.
Of course. And that would be very natural to have that.
So if I was little, and if I thought, I didn't know what it was, virus, and how it travels, and how it hurts, and how it goes, and how it does whatever, right? I would be always scared that there might be a virus that's going to catch me. Right. As a little kid, I would imagine in my head, right? Because I can imagine, because I'm good at that.
I have a good imagination if I'm a 5-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah. So there might be something that's going to catch me, and then that catch me can create anxiety, and then they can't settle in the classroom. They can't touch things in the classroom. They can't play with other people in the classroom. They might think that somebody else might be sick, a little bit coughing, and they may say, "Oh no, I can't be near them. I can't do this or that." So I think we need to look back, what happened, and really have compassion for some of our kids, and look at the young adults who have social anxiety right now,
Hmm.
and look at all the 20-year-old, because at that time when it happened, they would have been 15-year-olds, right?
Right. And so they attended high school online for the
Yes.
most part. Hmm.
So now they have social anxiety. Many of the people that we work with, young adults, are having very much social anxiety. They can't get a job, they can't face the real world, they can't have relationships, they're suffering, and they want to just stay in their room.
Yes.
So can we see a pattern? Like that's like really my question is, like, shouldn't we have some education around this to really help
I,
alleviate some of these anxiety that,
sure. I mean, if so, I think the more you know about something, the less anxiety that you're going to have about it. So certainly, um, getting more educated about whatever the situation is going to help with that feeling. And what I like to remember is that there's nothing wrong with me for having anxiety. That's
Yes.
just something that comes up because there's something else going on that I need to address, that I need to find.
So let's kind of give, what does anxiety look like? Like, what would I be feeling? Like, if a parent is watching, they're like, I don't know if my child has anxiety, or they have fear, or they have a behavior. Like, if they're saying that, how can we differentiate it? What would it look? Because I know you said you shared you had anxiety, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you experience anxiety. What does that feel for you in your body?
So like I said, I feel it. I get a tightness in my chest, and either a tightness in my chest, or I get like a ball in my gut or in my belly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that I recognize, okay, I'm anxious about something. So let's figure out, what is my brain telling me, and what do I know is really going on?
Yes. So can you separate it? Can you, when you ask that question, is it possible to talk to your brain and separate it? I mean, I guess as a coach, you know how to do that now, but
Sure. I mean, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. It's just recognizing that what your brain is telling you may not actually be real.
So what is underneath anxiety? What is underneath, if you think about yourself, what do you always go to? Like, if I was to ask you, what is the root of that? What is the root of that? What would it go down to?
Generally, it's either fear or overwhelm.
Yes. That's the culprit, the fear.
Yeah. So fear of the future a lot of the time. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
What if? What if?
Yeah, fear of the future. Because future is uncertain, right?
Sure.
We don't know.
It hasn't been written yet.
Yes. And especially when there's a lot of chaos in your environment and in the world. And then we always have to ask, what's going to happen to us, right? What's the world going to look like? What's my life is going to look like? How is my kids' life going to look like? So there's a lot of uncertainty associated with that fear. So for you, that was it, like fear of the future causes anxiety.
Yes.
And can you stop it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And how would you stop it? What would you do to stop it?
So when I recognize it, then I stop and I do some breathing and just get back into my body and think about, okay, what are the messages that are playing? What is on that loop?
Yes.
And I have to stop that loop and say, okay, no, you know better than this. You know that's not, if it's what ifs about, okay, when I was moving last year, well, where am I going to live? What if I don't find a place, and things like that? Okay, well, you're going to look for something, and you're going to find something. And so it's just telling my brain, okay, stop the loop and stop the
what ifs,
right? And think about, okay, what you know now. Okay, you know how to look for somewhere to live. You know what you're looking for. You know what your budget is, and just go through the things that you know, and the things that you know are true, and not the what ifs off in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So what if we look at anxiety as not a problem, but as a signal,
Exactly.
right? It's actually a signal.
Right.
Like
Right.
our
All right.
body is processing something that is not comfortable with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's giving us all these signals that I'm not comfortable with this, I'm not comfortable with this. So why don't we look at it from a signal point of view? And then, as you said, start noticing the loop that's bringing that anxiety, because there's always a loop associated with it. There's always a story that's playing along with it.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Mhm.
Some of the loops that parents have are, if the child is not behaving at school, they could have a loop that's going, what if I'm a failure? What if I have not provided what my child needs? What if they get labeled? What am I going to do with that label?
Mhm.
All of these things. You have to live in a space of fear, right? Fear of unknown is what my child's future is going to be. So if you go to the bottom of that, it is always based on, I'm going to screw up my son or daughter's future, right? If you go to any parents, if you ask them, that's their biggest fear, is I'm going to screw up their future.
I have a daughter that has anxiety and had panic attacks and all of these things, and yes, that was all going through my head.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then if you're a teacher and you're put in with so many kids with so many different ways the anxiety is showing, because it is in the classrooms right now, we are seeing with different types of behaviors, and anxiety is definitely associated with these behaviors, right? So if we notice that, we can't really help individually. A teacher cannot help, so the teacher becomes also anxious too. I see like almost 26 kids here, 26 ways I have to definitely differentiate everything that I need to do. And I only have so much time, and I don't know which one to take care of first, because there has to be some priority too, right? Who gets what first, because some of them are more demanding than the other students are, right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
somewhere in there they have to teach content. So
Yeah, oh yeah, that's always on the list. That is the main. That is why we go to school, right?
sure.
That's on the list. That runs the whole show. This is just a little bits here. So, so we talked about that anxiety has a root cause, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do we find it? Kristen has explained that it's the loop, it's the story. So go down all the way to the story of it, right? And see what is
Mhm.
that story telling us. So whatever the story. So can we model some stories? What are some of the stories you've heard? Let's look at it so somebody watching us can know what we're talking about. What are some of the anxiety causing root causes?
So one I see a bit is fear of failure.
Oh yes. Yes.
What if
Let's go
I
with that. Yeah. Tell me more about
fail
that.
that test? What if I don't pass this class? Um, what if I don't learn what I need to learn from this class for the next one? Things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
So that stems from what? They haven't focused, they haven't studied, they're not studying, they're not understanding the concept. They could have missed some concept from the last year or from the past 5 years where we just pushed them through, right? It could have been from shutdown. We kept pushing through everybody. So
sure. Yeah, it could have been as far back as that for sure.
yeah, so all of that. So and then the child or the student feels like, I'm not going to be ready for this test, and then they may cram. They may leave it to the last minute and just start cramming over the last night or something, or they never even. Some people don't even study because they're like, I'm going to fail anyway. What's the point of studying?
Right. Why
That makes sense, right? I'm going to waste some time. I might as well do something better than study for a failing test.
right.
So they give up. So
Yes.
some of them overstudy and burn themselves out, and then they still know that they're going to fail. And then we have those students too, right? They say, I studied so hard, but I forgot everything on the
Yes.
test because of the anxiety blocks them out, their brain from functioning too, right? So it's gone. So
I
there's
see. Mhm.
so many ways anxiety can show up, right?
Yes.
Okay, give me another example. Let's look at that. So the test is, so all the way to the root cause of that would be just fear of failure, right?
Right.
Basically, I'm not ready to face what I'm going to get on this test. So how do
Mhm.
I, the signal I'm getting from the body is, I need to escape this. That is the signal. I need to escape the test, but I can't. So then I have to suffer through the anxiety, and then some people get into panic attack.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So what is another example that you can think of? What about moving? You just talked about that. Moving to another place, moving to another school, moving, like parents are separated and they get, the kids have to move from two households, or there's moving separately or something, right? All of that. Would that create anxiety?
Sure. And fear of the unknown.
Yes.
I think.
Why anxiety will be created in this situation? Because fear of the unknown, plus we're losing what we know that was already a schedule, that was part of our rhythm, right? It was a routine.
Right. We had our place, and we won't have that.
No, we don't know who we're going to live with. We don't know which neighborhood we're going to. We don't know who's going to be my neighbor. I don't know what
Are the neighbors nice? Are there kids to play with?
Yeah,
sure.
And I don't know if I like the neighborhood. I don't know if there's a park that I used to like and go to. Now I don't have a park. I don't know if I like this new school. They're going to hate me. They might bully me. They might not like me. Like all these things, right? For little kids, even adults too.
I might not like the food,
Yeah, everything and anything. So then, of course, constantly that playing of that same story about this, everything is going to be bad because everything was good here. That's why change is always hard, right? Change brings so much anxiety into people, right?
Absolutely. It has for me for years, but I'm learning to embrace change. So
yeah. So let's go to the root cause of that. So that is a fear of change. Now, why do we fear change? Because we don't know what the other side looks like. Right?
We don't know what the future of that change is going to be.
So here's how I like to offer something for all of this. Any kind of anxiety, what we could do is we can look at, okay, if I do move, or if I do fail this test, or can I study to pass this test? Let's look at options that could happen. Instead of saying, I only have one thing, I'm going to fail, right? Instead of saying, if I move, I won't like this place, or I don't like change, whatever you want to call it, right? Why don't we look at it, okay, what is the worst of you moving? What is the worst of the case that you could go into a place and that you would hate it? Right. And nobody's there that's nice, and the food is bad, and the school is bad, everybody's bad, and you just hate it. Okay, that's the worst of it. Okay, what's the best of it? What's the best of it?
That you have a fantastic neighbor with a great kid to play with, and you love your teacher, and the classroom's wonderful, and
yeah, the school's nice. Everyone's so friendly, and it was friendlier than the previous school that I was in. It's exciting, right?
Right.
Oh, perfect. Okay, what is like not the worst of the worst? Like what is a little bit better than the worst? What would that look like? The school's
pretty good.
But the neighbors are bad. But the neighbors are crappy. Yeah. The area's not that great.
But there's a pretty good park right down the road, so.
Yeah. Okay. What is not the best of the best, but just best? What would that be?
You like your neighbor pretty well. They're okay. Yeah. And your teacher's pretty nice, and some of the kids in the class are, they're pretty nice, but
some of them are mean, but
some of them are not. Yeah, some of them are not so great.
It's okay. I have few that likes me, so that's good. So then if we go into the middle, the fifth option would be, what is something that's you're okay with? It's like, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not good. It's okay.
Maybe you have one person in your class that you like. Maybe you don't like anybody else, and maybe your teacher is not really nice, but not really mean. So you just, okay.
You're just like, okay, it's a change, but I can handle it. I'm okay. You're like, yeah, it's not that bad as I thought to be.
It's not the worst of the worst.
Yeah, it's not the best of the best, but the worst of the worst. So I'm in the middle, so I'm okay. So when we can help our children or any age, even us, I always go through this too. I call these are the possibility doors, right? We have all these doors we can open and we can explore these doors. And I just created this with my son when his dad was sick. And he was so upset and he was so in anxiety and all stressed out, like, oh my goodness. He's like, I don't know what's going to happen to my dad. What's going to happen to my dad? So I said, okay, let's go through it. We had 7 doors we opened, and I said, okay, what's the best of the best of the best of the best that's going to happen here, right? And he gave me all his beautiful things that he's going to do. And then I said, what's the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst that I'll never meet my dad again. So I made him his body and everything to accept that there's that possibility, because all is possible, right? It's not in our hand. Everything is possible, right? So when he accepted it, the next time we were driving back from the hospital, I didn't look, I guess my face didn't look right. You know how children know when your face don't look right. He's like, what's wrong, Mom? I said, no, nothing. I'm just driving. And he said, no, Mom, you're thinking something. What's wrong? And then he said, are you thinking something's going to happen to Dad? And I said, no, I'm just driving. And he said, Mom, one of the 7 things will happen. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So he was completely off of something's going to happen, something is going to happen, something is going to happen, and thinking about all the way, only the worst way, because only our brain can do the worst situations, right? It never does the best of the best of the best of the best when you're in a worse situation. It cannot go there unless you force it, Mm-hmm. So when I did that to him, he was educating, he was comforting me at the end of the day. He's like, don't worry, one of the 7 things has to happen.
Wow.
So kids are so amazing when we teach them beautiful things like this, right?
That's a wonderful tool. Yes.
Yes. And then the doors of these options, if you can go through with your kids before you make a transition, before we go through anything, like, even with COVID, we could have done it, right? What's the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst of the COVID situation? What is the best of the best of the COVID? And then what is in between, right? You can do 7 ways, you can do 5 ways, you can do 3 ways. It doesn't matter. It just needs to be that explored. Each pathway has to be explored so that the child doesn't sit by themselves creating all these stories that are just the worst of the worst of the worst.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Or adults too, because we all do
it
too.
Everybody does.
Yeah. So that is one way you can help yourself and your child, by exploring what are the options that can happen, that just rest our brain, and it just lets you live your life peacefully.
And you can let that go.
Yeah.
Go on like your son did. That was fantastic.
It was no longer a thing, because there's only 7 things that can happen. That's it. That's it. So let's talk about the environment that's impacting anxiety at this moment. What are the environment causes now that we're in an environment? We talked about COVID first, right? This shutdown was one of the reasons, so that it's lingering in some people, that anxiety. And there's aftermath of that in some adults, young adults, that continues, that I see in so many people that we help. But what about environment-wise? What is impacting? There's a lot of talk about war. There's a lot of talk about environmental damage, right? We say the weathers are changing. We're affecting the environment in a certain way. So this environmental issues have caused a lot of young people also anxiety. Like we might not have the earth as we have it now, right? So that's an anxiety piece, right?
That's anxiety. There's you have school shootings.
Yep.
Those are definitely anxiety inducing.
Yeah, your safety, yes. And then finances. Sometimes people say that finance is crashing, this market is crashing, we won't have oil, the gas prices are going up. All of that. It just goes on, right? The house prices
are going up. Yes.
Is going up. All of that stuff. Stuff. I mean, who would it be? And then our paycheck never goes up. So
no, it doesn't.
So of course that's going to create anxiety. It's not like, oh yeah, my paycheck is same, but everything else is going up. I'm so happy with that. As adults, we are going to have anxiety.
Yeah, I have to tell my brain, okay, these are, this is all these things going on, and we know these are going on, but we're going to, yes. It's okay.
Something else I learned as a teacher, coach, and a mother is that when we are anxious, we can actually spread that to others, because it's an energy, right?
Yes.
It's so transferable. It's like, yeah, have some of my anxiety. Here you go.
Right? You were fine a minute ago, but I'll change that.
So
Sure.
as parents, we have to be very mindful, right? At this in this environment when we're living with all these uncertainties and all the fear of changes, we have to be very careful what we say around our kids,
Yes.
how we mention things, right?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause they're picking up, they're just antennas, right? Like they're just like signal picking up people. They just always, their ears are always alert to listen to everything. They look like they're not listening, but they always know what you say. Somehow they know what you said.
Sure. Sure.
So we have to be careful with that. And then also when you're feeling anxious, yeah, use the possibility doors I just talked about. Even with any of these scenarios that I just told you, even with the war or with the finance or with anything, the price is going up, just use the what's the worst of the worst of the worst. If everything goes up, what's the worst of the worst of the worst? It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that your body can go through all the pathways and then your brain just gets a relief, because otherwise your brain is going to produce the worst of the worst of the worst all the time, because it
Yes.
loves to do the worst of the worst of the worst. It doesn't do the best of the best. So you have to really train your brain to do that as well.
Right.
If
Right.
you
You have to make it do the best of the best. It's
Yeah.
not naturally going to do that for
Yeah,
you.
but if you start doing it more and more, it kind of will say, okay, it's one of the things will happen anyway. It'll start training with you as well. So it's very important. What about attention? When we have anxiety, what happens to attention? What happened to tolerance? What happens to emotional capacity?
Goes in the toilet basically. Attention definitely is interrupted. It's attention span. I would say attention span of a gnat. Yeah, it's just not there. It's just not there. And we live in a world of instant gratification now. Instant access. You can ask Google anything. And so waiting for things, sometimes waiting there is positive things in the waiting and in patience.
Yes.
So we lose some of that with all of this just instant access.
Yes. Yeah, that creates the overstimulation, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and more pressure and speed. We're living in a speedy world and overstimulated, and that causes pressure to our nervous system, and then we don't know what we're doing. And then that feels like anxiety as well.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So where do you think we're misunderstanding anxiety? Like, do you think anxiety is misunderstood?
I do. I mentioned my daughter has anxiety. When she was in school, was having panic attacks. I didn't understand it. I would tell her just breathe. Not in a controlled way or anything. Just breathe. And later, a few years later, I had a panic attack, and somebody told me to breathe, and that did not help. So, because they're just standing there telling you, well, get over it, instead of walking me through like a breathing exercise. But I didn't understand it, and I would ask, why are you anxious? Why are you anxious? I don't know. And I didn't understand that either.
So those are things you shouldn't do then, right?
I wouldn't recommend it. No.
Yeah, not at the stage of panic attack. You wouldn't ask, what can you explain to me? I know I can't explain to me. I can't explain anything.
No, the best thing is just to be present and just to be calm and regulated yourself.
Yeah.
And let them get to the same space.
Yeah, you just hold space for people. If your child is having anxiety, if your partner is having anxiety, only thing you have to do is touch their pulse. I love touching people's pulse. This is very good. They don't even know. It just feels like you're touching their hand. Of course, if they're loved ones, right? Like if you know your daughter or something, you can just touch their pulse. And then by touching their pulse, if you remain calm, you can actually transfer your pulse to them.
Yes.
And soon you both will relax into the same rhythm as your heartbeat, but you have to be calm first. You can't just go make her more anxious.
Yes, you got to be calm and regulated yourself first, of
Yeah,
course.
and
Or
then
you're
it
just going to
moves.
transfer your anxiety onto them. Then you're both just going to keep ramping up in anxiety.
Yeah,
That's not what we
that's
want.
not good. That's not
No.
good. So it's actually works really well, even with kids with ADHD.
Mhm.
Always, you can regulate if you remain calm by holding their pulse,
Mhm.
and then even eventually asking them to hold yours, like back and forth like this.
Right.
And then it just we hosted a parenting in flow event in a few cities last year, right?
Yeah.
So we did this pulse of exercise
Mhm.
with the parents, and you should see the room as they're doing it. The room just went.
Everybody's shoulders just sank. Yes.
Uh-huh. Everybody just
I
like
can see it in my mind.
I
Yes.
almost heard it. Like that's how the release of it.
Right. Right.
Because everybody did it, and everybody did it at the same time, so everybody kind of, it's so beautiful. And that's if you're a parent, that's the first language you and your child ever spoke, is the pulse.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we remember, they remember that really well, right? So
Yeah.
in life the simplest things are the powerful things, right? Breathing is simple, but it's powerful. Regulating yourself by breathing and in the pulse exercise is really beautiful, but we may think that's not that big of a deal. We might think we need something else, big tools, right? But it's not needed. The
Yeah.
breath makes a big difference, but you have to regulate yourself first. Yeah, and also you have to be home. I've been talking about being home in
Mm-hmm.
this soul, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because a lot of the time when we're parenting, when we're living, we're all out here, out into this busy, chaotic world, right? But
Right.
how to come home to yourself first. So then, when you're home to yourself, then when somebody is experiencing anxiety or panic attack, you can really regulate them,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So what happens if we start telling our kids that or get labeled and say, you know what, you just have anxiety, you just have anxiety, you just have anxiety? What happens if we keep saying that to them?
Well, then you're not going to be looking for what it's signaling, what's underlying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, and also we're not teaching them how to regulate themselves at all. We're just telling them you have anxiety. What is that going to do, right? It's just like saying, I have ADHD, I have ADHD. Yes, you do, but now what?
Now, yeah. How do we deal with that? How do we find a system to work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the better sentence would be, yes, you have anxiety, but
Mhm.
what can we do now?
Right.
Yes, you have ADHD, but what can we do now, right? What can you do? What is it that you
What
feel?
tools are going to work for you to
Yes.
help you process the anxiety and yeah.
And the biggest thing you can do before doing any kind of intervention with your son or daughter or your student is to just start noticing, like, when does this anxiety showing up?
Right.
At what point, in what activities, at what time of the day, what were they doing that produced this anxiety, right? Induced this anxiety, and what was said. Like, just noticing,
What
just
are their
become,
behaviors when they're feeling the anxiety?
yes.
Where are they feeling it?
Yeah, just start noticing and letting them notice too. Like, we're so quick to go into intervention and help somebody, right? But we don't stop to notice it. So when we don't stop to notice it for enough time, usually we're already panicking to solve the problem. So we're not in a good state ourselves. So just start really having that observation.
Yes.
And then also telling your child or your student to, let's start observing this. Why is this anxiety coming?
Hmm.
What's happening? Where did you feel it first? What happened before this? Right? Like, just
Right.
start. And even, like, you don't have to do it while they're having that anxiety or panic attack. Do it in a conversation away from when they're in their normal state. Ask them about it so that they can start noticing when it does come.
Right. Right.
A lot of the time when they're feeling that anxiety, you might not be able to, as we said, you can't talk to them.
No, yeah, some people can't speak at all when they're in, especially when they're in a panic attack. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no words.
So after the episode is over, right, when
Right.
they're
And
normal
they're
and calm,
yes.
you can have ask them to start noticing what's triggering this, what was happening before that, what was done or said, where did you feel it, where did it start, and also you can start doing the observation for them as well.
Right.
Like even if they're not doing it, if they're young, if your child is young, maybe you need to start really noticing what's happening to get to this point.
Right. Yeah.
And then only then you'll have lots of facts before you can do any type of intervention or help them, other than the pulse and then other than the breathing. Those two you can do anytime, because
Sure.
that is an international language, right? That's that no problem. Breathing and the pulse exercise, you can do it anytime, because
Right.
they're not gonna hurt. They just bring everybody down to a stable state,
Right. Calm.
calm.
Bring them back to calm. Sure. Sure.
But why? What is it that causing it is something you can explore. So anxiety is not something to fight. It's not something to fight because it's a signal, right? We don't
Right.
want to fight
And
that.
it's not bad. It's not everybody has, it's not like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. So it's about understanding it, as we've been talking about. Start understanding it. Don't fight it, because fighting it is just going to make you more anxious.
Right. Right.
Creates more anxiety. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when a child is anxious, their system is asking for support, right? Their
Yes.
system is asking for support, not correction. A lot of the time, as parents, we try to correct them, right? It wants support. They want support. They want connection. They want their pulse to be felt. They
Mm-hmm.
want you to
Feel
feel
safe.
safe. Yes.
Mhm.
And then when we shift how we see them, right? If we can shift how we see that as not a behavior, or I need to correct you, or I need to tell you what to do now, right? Then we really change how we respond to it, right?
Of course.
Compassion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when we can have that compassionate lens, that's when everything changes. That's when you can start making real changes, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a
So
shift. Sure.
we have to shift first. So if your child or you or your students, anyone, if you're an adult, if you're feeling anxious, there are a few things we talked about today. One is really being here and now, not allowing your brain to go into the past and projecting that past into the future, and then thinking about the future with all sorts of what ifs.
Right.
That's a cause for full-time anxiety. That's not where you want to be. That's
No.
not something you want. So you can correct your brain by saying, I want to be here and now.
Yes.
And the more you are here and now, you're not going to live in the past or the future. You're going to live in the present.
And in the present. Yes.
So there's no anxiety in the present. You don't have to be anxious. You can regulate yourself and return to what needs to happen now, and
Right.
be with the people that are in front of you, or do the things that you need to get done, because you're in the present moment. You're here.
Right.
So you can control your brain. That's my whole thing, right? I learned that from a young age, that it doesn't control you, it doesn't control us, we control it. It's in your
Mm-hmm.
hands. So that's number one. The other way to get over anxiety, or control anxiety, not control, but not manage, what's the better word? I guess deal with anxiety is a better word than manage, because I don't like that word either.
Right. Yeah. Or process maybe.
Yeah, process, understand. Yeah, understand is better.
And anxiety.
There we go. So in order to understand anxiety, do the doors that I just told you about. The option. What are the options that I have? What is the worst of the worst of the worst of the situation? What is the best of the best? And what is all in between? If you can go through all those options, your brain is going to be tired after that, and it'll just leave you alone. Because we produced all the stories, and it'll be like, oh, she produced all of them. I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, we have dealt with
Go
it.
rest.
Yeah, the brain actually gives up at that point, because you created for it, right? Otherwise, the brain will just create it whenever it wants.
Continue making the stories.
Stories, yeah. So that's another way to deal with it. So those are two things you can try right now. And then anytime you want to help anyone else or yourself, just find your pulse, find the rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
and find deep breathing. And then you can calm yourself down. Because in calmness, there's no anxiety. There is none.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you touch your pulse, actually the anxiety will evaporate. Because you just become very, very calm. Try it. I want people to try this. I'm
Yeah.
holding on to both of my arms, right? My pulse
Mhm.
on both arms. And if you do this, it just feels so beautiful.
Mhm.
Doesn't it, Kristen?
It does. I'm just sitting here getting calmer by the second. I love it.
Yeah, me too. So if you want to join our calm party, we're here. But those of you who are listening, if you are interested in learning more about our Parenting in Flow labs that we're going to be starting in April, we invite you to DMS because we are starting those because there is 4 weeks where the first 20, 30 people, I think we said, we will give it to you for as a gift, and we want you to go through this program. Again, this is what we're dealing with, is because a lot of parents are dealing with big emotions. A lot of labels are being given out, such as ADHD, anxiety, depression. All these things are going up, up, up in every angle. I hear this. So we want to help you. So if you're interested in that, DM me and I will give you the information, and it is a gift from us to you. And then Kristen can be found in all social media as well. She's one of our holistic neurogrowth success coach. So she can help you as well. She offers one-on-one coaching. Otherwise, just reach out to us and we are here to support you. And if you have any questions or comments, also tell us. And if you felt like something was missing, also tell us.
Mhm.
If something resonated, tell us. If you didn't like something, tell me and tell us. It's all fun because we are always learning, right? And growing. So everything is positive. Nothing is negative in this world for me and for Kristen. So tell us. Thank you so much, Kristen, for your time. Thank you. Thank you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much for having me.
Thank you.